Babajide Otitoju finally reacts to PANTAMI'S statement that he was young when he made terrorism comments. On Monday's edition of Journalist Hangout, host of the show, Ayodele, told Babajide Kolade Otitoju that Minister Pantami reminds him of Paul the Apostle at a point in time, Paul was persecuting the Christians when he was Saul and later had a change of heart and was propagating the gospel of Christ, despite the fact he didn't see Jesus Christ. The host recalled what Minister Pantami recently said, that he indeed made those comments when he was young and wasn't mature as he is now. The host added that human beings can make such mistakes. Babajide Kolade Otitoju said, "I don't blame Minister Pantami. I blame our security agencies, the DSS, who gave us the impression that before people are appointed, they do due diligence, they conduct some checks. There is no evidence they ran any checks on Minister Pantami. Secondly, we spent hours and hours and hours screening people in the National Assembly. Sometimes what you just say is a charade, a bloody waste of time. At that screening, somebody should have raised this issue that you said some time ago that jihad was a legitimate thing. You even offered yourself. People should have raised those questions." So yes, Pantami said he was young, not exactly young. If he said it when he was younger, I'll be agree, but he's almost 50 to 48 now. Some of those comments were made when he was already above 30 years. When you're above 30 years, you're not exactly young. You're a full adult, and if you do anything that is against the law of the land, you are going to answer for it. I mean, it really does start at 18. I don't buy this idea of I was young. If you said I have now become more mature or I was younger, I would accept. Unfortunately, this same man, I have to be fair to him as someone who fears God. If Boko Haram gets hold of him, they will slaughter him. Shekau already said that his people should go after him, that they should take his life. Wow. Obviously, in his words, says once you get into a position like this, you need to renounce them publicly. So I don't want to buy this idea of I was young. I have always said it before, this time is a gentleman, and it will always catch up with you at some point. The things you said back then, once you get into a position like this, you need to renounce them publicly. He has partially renounced because he didn't directly apologize for what he said. He was trying to give an explanation, and an explanation is different from an apology. Very true. So yeah, that's basically the end of it. I think he's absolutely right. It's inexcusable. He was well over 30 years, and saying you're young, you're implying like you've been a teenager or early adult, like let's say 21, 22, 23. That's pretty young in terms of like life experience. But yeah, understanding how even at the time you'd think that okay, fine, there's certain things that you should not say because people are obviously dying, and for the fact that logically it's non-consensual on the other part of the people that will probably get taken over and probably killed with the way jihadists work, it's highly insensitive. And again, when it comes to screening of people, how come? But then again, he was probably appointed there and the people at the top liked him for every other reason but for what he said. Someone says a jihadist is a jihadist, you can never change them. A supporter of Islamic terrorists remains one, no matter where he finds himself. He will always do the bindings to bring more Islamic terrorists and jihadists in any form while they work undercover. The man must resign or Nigeria will witness a surge in terrorism. Very true, and it's not that, it is his position, okay? I think that for someone to have that kind of view or had that kind of views, it is his position that is more worrisome. I think he's okay, just to be specific and let me not assume, let me just search up what his position is, but his position has to do with information, the public information, and that's why he's pushing the NIN. So obviously Nigerians link that one and two and we're like, you want to ask for our information? So basically, he's the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy in Nigeria. So Federal Minister of Communications and Digital Economy of Nigeria since 2009. And again, he's pushed for the NIN. Again, he will have access to information where, with his kind of views, people are thinking, how could we trust you not to give out this information to the wrong hands? So yeah. In reply, it says, sentiment apart, Paul was Saul when he was persecuting the follower of Jesus. Are you saying his repentance is bullying and avoid because he was once a terror? Saul is Saul. You can never change him. Okay, I don't know if we're going to get into biblical things in terms of comparing Saul and Paul, or if, because again, the question is, okay, fine, if you're a Christian, you believe that you'll get forgiven, does it mean that you're changed? I mean, you have to work towards the change, but does it mean that the consequence of the change is absolved and, you're exonerated, but then you don't face the consequences? What does that mean? Another comment here says Mr. Pantami should publicly apologize and renounce those comments in public, but he can't, because then if he has connections based on those kind of beliefs, then who is he putting first? Whose interest is he putting first? Let the stupid terrorist go and face his warrant, okay? I think like Babajide, he's fearless and forthright. Pantami said those things deliberately and has the backing of his northerners, exactly. Apparently somebody, it was either Buhari who appointed him there, but I don't know, because apparently Buhari liked him. I'm not sure about that, but that's something that has been like flowing around, that Buhari likes him. Someone says Pantami is a serious security risk. Absolutely. No wonder insecurity is rising in Nigeria with terrorist apologists in government. What else do we expect? Renunciation alone will be very dangerous to Nigeria. Pantami should be fired immediately. I think he should be. You might find it harsh, but with the kind of position he holds, okay, it's a different thing if, let's say, somebody in a company, expose information about the company. Okay, fine, that is obviously can be illegal depending on your position, but you work in the government, the country. If the people do not feel safe, I mean, again, what is feeling safe? Because we've not been safe technically for like the longest time. So I don't know. I think he should be fired. It has to be, or else it's a reflection of the government and the kind of people they put in there. I'm not saying you have to be an angel for you to be in politics. Well, it doesn't seem like you're gonna be. However, the government should try to stay away from employing people who represent them that show views like this, because it goes back on the government. Put what you think about this in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.